Alright, so the Cavs open up their NBA playoff matchup in the first round versus the Orlando Magic in a couple of days. And obviously, surrounding this series, there is a lot to talk about. One of the player optics that I really want to get into really surrounds Evan Mobley. Now, obviously, in the second half of the season, when Evan Mobley was really able to come back from injury, we saw a lot of growth strides from him on the offensive and defensive side of the floor. But obviously, the playoffs is a different game, so we want to see that same thing turn over, especially in this series. In this video, I really just want to talk about why Evan Mobley is so crucial to the Cavs' success in this series, specifically versus the Magic, and really what kind of matchup problem the Magic really present to the Cavs, and why Evan Mobley is so important to really combat that. So everybody, without further ado, let's go ahead, hop in, and talk about this. Let's go. Listen, man, when you look at the Magic's roster, the one big thing that really stands out to you is they got a lot of bigs. They have a lot of height to throw at you. We know they got Carroll, they got the Wagner brothers, they got Jonathan Isaac and Wendell Carter. They have a lot of height to throw at you, have a lot of size to throw at you, and defensively, you want to have a lot of height to combat that. Obviously, the Cavs have Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, hopefully Dean Wade. Hopefully Marcus Morris gets some good minutes. Hopefully JB decides to throw him out there so they can combat the height of the Magic. But when you think about that, and you think of how much height the Magic have to throw at you, I expect to see Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley on the court at the same time more in this series to be able to combat the height that the Magic can throw at you, especially if Dean Wade can't go. So that's one big thing about Evan Mobley in this series. He's going to have to be out there with Jarrett Allen at the same time defensively. So obviously Evan Mobley is really important for that. But that's not even the most important thing. I won't even say that because it's really important to do that. But I think there's one other thing that's equally important for Evan Mobley to do. Ladies and gentlemen, when Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley are on the court at the same time, obviously there's one big concern that we all have. Is the floor spacing going to be all right? Can Evan Mobley stretch the floor? Can he shoot threes consistently? And down the stretch this year, he has done that. He's gotten better as a three-point shooter. He's stretched the floor more. And not only has he attempted more shots from three-point range, but he's been really efficient in knocking down those shots. And that's led to the Cavs having more space in the paint for Donovan and Darius and Jarrett Allen. But it's also been good just to have another guy to capitalize on more open opportunities outside because defenses pay so much attention to Donovan and Darius. So back to the point though, when you have Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley on the court at the same time, which you're probably going to do a lot more in this series, you're going to need Evan Mobley to knock down more threes. He's going to need to knock down those open 3-point opportunities that he gets. Because listen, if he doesn't, then you're getting in a situation where the paint is clogged and Donovan and Darius don't really have space to really drive and score or drive and kick. And from that, your offense would get really stagnant. And you get to a situation where teams aren't afraid to just trap Donovan and Darius, and they won't necessarily respect Evan Mobley. And that could contribute to a lot of stagnant play offensively. And if you're the Cavs and you get into a situation where your offense isn't shooting well or capitalizing on scoring opportunities with Mobley and Allen on the floor at the same time, then you get into a situation where you can't have two of the bigs on the court at the same time. You got to split them up. And while you might gain shooting from doing that, at the same time, you lose your size and defense that is so crucial versus this Orlando team if you have to split up Allen and Mobley and they can't be on the court at the same time. So look, man, I think the really big thing for Evan Mobley in this series is not only to play some really good physical defense alongside Jarrett Allen a lot of the times in this series, to be able to play well defensively versus the Magic's bigs and rebound well, but I also think it's going to be really important because, if he's out there that much with Jarrett Allen, then he's going to need to knock down those 3-point shots, because if he does, then the floor is more spaced out. The paint's not clogged. Donovan Darius can penetrate. They can also drive and kick when they need to. And if Evan Mobley can knock down those shots, not only are you not missing opportunities in this playoff series versus the Orlando Magic, but you're also getting to a point where they know you have guys like Evan Mobley who can space the floor and knock down threes. So when that becomes the case, you got to go out to guard those guys. You can't just be so comfortable with double teaming Darius and Donovan. And that also goes for other players. Max Strus, got to see him get consistent from three-point land in this one. We know he's a good three-point shooter, but we've seen him go into slumps at times this season. He's got to get up and running. Sam Merrill is going to play a big part. Marcus Morris, if JB gives him some playing time, is going to play a big part in this. George Niang, a lot of other Isaac Okoro, Caris, LeVert, all the role players in this team are really going to play a big part in making sure teams just don't feel comfortable making the Cavs offense stagnant by doubling Donovan Mitchell and Darius. And when they do that, you know, your players have to be able to make 3-point shots, because if they don't, not only are you not scoring enough to keep up with the Magic, but you're in a position where your offense can't really move that well because Darius and Donovan can't get going because they're constantly being double teamed, because you're not giving the defense a reason not to double team them because you don't have players outside knocking down those shots. For all players around Donovan and Darius, that's going to be really important to make sure there's not a huge burden on their shoulders. I think also one thing to mention for Evan Mobley is, you know, this is his second year in the playoffs. We saw him really struggle last year under the bright lights. So, you know, he's 1 year more experienced this year. I think that's a really big thing to be optimistic about when it comes to, you know, his regular season play carrying over into the playoffs. Is, you know, he's been here before now. So the adjustment carrying over to the playoffs now and really sustaining that play could maybe be easier than it was for him last year, because he's 1 year more experienced. And I think that goes for all the guys on this team. I mean, Jarrett Allen's been to the playoffs before, but maybe, you know, having another year experience maybe helps him get, you know, more adjusted to the bright lights. Same thing with Darius, Garland. Same thing with Isaac Okoro. Same thing with a lot of the other young guys on this team. Same thing with JB Bickerstaff. Experience is going to help these guys, especially Evan Mobley, and I think it's going to be really crucial for Evan Mobley when it comes to, you know, carrying over his regular season play into the postseason, being physical defensively and offensively. And, you know, Evan Mobley's even going to be really important when it comes to getting points inside, because, you know, he's one of your best paint scorers. So when you have so many bigs over there in Orlando, you're going to need multiple guys that are able to be able to get points inside versus a paint defense in Orlando that is really good. And Evan Mobley is one of your guys that can really do that for you. So Evan Mobley is going to be really an X factor for the Cavs this series. I think there's other X factors that I'll get to in another video, but, you know, I think when it comes to Evan Mobley's outside shot, he's really going to have to carry that over into the playoffs. I want to see him be more physical in this series, and you're really going to need to get rebounds in this one. I'm going to need to see guys other than Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen rebound really well. You don't want to give them extra possessions, especially in the playoffs where possessions are cut down. You don't want to give a team extra opportunities to, you know, really score when not only their possessions are limited compared to the regular season, but your possessions are also limited. So you don't want to give them extra possessions by allowing them offensive rebounds. So Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen are going to be really important to me and physical enough to get those rebounds. And I think guys around them are going to be really important to getting those rebounds and not giving the Magic extra opportunities. You guys tell me what you think about it all down in the comment section below. Can't wait to see this series for the Cavs kick off. I'm going to have a lot more content on it leading up to game one and during the series, everybody. Make sure you subscribe. Other than that, this has been Malik Hicks, aka The Ranker of Dogs by the Sword, signing off. Peace out, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace.